Doing some Halloween research, trying to find the amount of blood needed to sustain a vampire, which turned out to be not a lot because it's magic, I found something way more exciting. The evolution of vampires. They're not called vampires everywhere, but everywhere has stories about them. The uncommon term is Hematophages, or blood drinkers. They represent the unknown between life and death, and the human inert question, what comes after, and what lurks in between me and after. But how does a vampire come into being? Death. Disease, observed, localized, unexplained weakness. But we do not know why. Death. Horrid, but we cannot conceive how. Death. Bloody and unexplained. The common formula, and causally, is 1 + 1 = 2. The mythological formula is x + y = myth of x and y. And if you can explain x or y at some point, then it's not a myth anymore. But we could not explain it then. Thus, vampires came into being as the answer to the question, what happened? They got the honoraries of their station, together with a practical handbook of how to recognize them, how to ward off them, how to defeat them, and, in the case of institutionalized belief, where to pay. Bit pale, kinda undead, hungry for blood, loner type, garlic, sunlight, fire. Rip the head off, eat the heart before they eat you, crush the body. Vampires mark explanation for human ailment throughout time. Plague, rabies, anemia, tuberculosis, pellagra. And as science prevailed and searched for X and Y of the myth of vampires, slowly vampires were stripped of one of their honoraries after another, and thus disappeared. The myth changed and prevailed. The more explained it became, the more it changed to sustain itself. And the myth formula became the myth of X and Y is Z + D. Vampires are now pretty and mysterious, but still loners, and they drink animal blood instead of human blood, so we can love them better. Since the 1990s, charisma and romance won out, the misunderstood outcast. But throughout time, hematophages came in all shapes and sizes. In the ancient Mediterranean, blood drinkers were demons of shadow without form. In Mesopotamia, Lilitu. In ancient Mediterranean, blood drinkers were demons of shadow without form. In Mesopotamia, Lilitu. Other places, Empusa, Lamia, Strix, Dracula, Edward. Ancient Mediterranean, Orient, Slavic, the biggest influence on modern vampires. All they have in common, the extraction of life essence by any means. From a hickey of a mesmerization to arousal and fear. Vampires led us for our life energy, and life is blood. But before vampires mostly survived in pop culture, specific times had a wellspring of them. Most myths of vampires originate during epidemics, where everyone was weak and died, especially families and close social groupings. And while from the 18th century on administrations cautioned the population and administered scientific inquiry, props to them, at the fringes of society lied in waiting the hematophage of choice, giving an answer to everything at the same time. Poorly understood body decomposition, mind and body altering disease, spreading of weakness. In those same times, in the 18th century, the living violated the graves of the dead, burning and destroying the body to drive out the vampires, to not return from their casket. Weakness spreading through families and communities, and everyone anxious and malnourished. All you wanted was survive. Shadows became relatives, stories became answers. That is a period which led to the modern European and Western understanding of what a vampire is and how you can defeat it. With fire, chopping the head off, ripping the heart out, crushing the body. But vampires are of the past now, right? In 2002 we had the widespread rumors of vampires in Malawi. In 2004 in Romania, a child saw a dead relative, and the family exhumed the body, took the heart, burned it to ashes and drank it with water. A remedy of the area against vampires. Now that's how vampires are born and died, right? Humans easily do away with vampires in scientific understanding until they suddenly don't, and all they gained in the meanwhile was weaknesses and powers. The myth prevails.